would like to just make sure that this is valuable to you most of all, and I'm not just a talking head up here, and maybe we can dive into some specific challenges that you're working on. So just to give you a little context about who I am, I have been an entrepreneur my whole life. So I would pretty much say that from 6th grade on, when I realized that school was boring and I needed a challenge, I pretty much didn't know it at the time, but looking back in hindsight, I was like, straight A student, all this stuff, but I sit there going like, this is boring. And I was always thinking about like ideas. And I felt like the traditional career path was always like, didn't seem like I wanted to go down that path, and I had no framework for it, right? And so it's like entrepreneurs, if you're in this room, probably you're entrepreneurial at a minimum, and so your brain is wired differently, right? And so you don't fit into the box. And so I pretty much wrestled with that for a long time. I've started so many businesses. I've failed so many businesses. I've crashed and burned a lot of businesses. I've tried just about everything from, I moved to Malaysia to do community transformation work in 2008. And I supported myself by a marketing agency, and because I needed to build my own website, so I figured it out. So I went on WordPress and just bought a template and started going after it. And so I built my own website, and then somebody says, "Oh, I like your website. Would you help me build my website?" So I think the biggest thing that I would say out of the gate here is that businesses solve problems, right? And so I needed to solve my own problem out of the gate, so I built my own website. And then someone said, "Would you build me one?" And I'm like, yeah, $500. And I thought I was like rich, right? $500 to build a website. And then I was like, the next time I was like, I'm gonna charge $1,000. And they're like, okay, sure. Next time I was like, $3,000. I'm like, okay, sure. And now I won't touch a website without $10,000 now today, because I know I'm not just talking about just the website, because I do more revenue consulting. And most people that want to hire me, and I don't even promote myself as building websites. I've got somebody that does all of that. I just send them work now. But I do revenue consulting. So now what I've done is I've figured out that what most businesses need is revenue, right? And revenue solves all problems, right? So most people think that they need, a website or a business card, and that's where people start, right? Like, oh, I just need to get my business card done. I don't even like business cards. I have business cards. I can give you one of them. It's actually for my nonprofit. I don't even use them for my business because what's the number one thing that drives business? Anybody know? What's the number one thing that will drive your business? Word of mouth, right? Absolutely, positively, word of mouth. I was just with a group called Anaheim Studios. You've never heard of them before. I was in LA this week. And they, if you've ever watched an Old Spice commercial, they do all the Old Spice commercials, but you've never heard of Anaheim Studios, right? And they just signed their biggest deal with, I can't say the business because this is being recorded, but they just signed a $1 million deal, and they just built their website for the first time, right? So like they've had multiple, $1 million situation, close to $250,000, $500,000 commercials. They just signed their first $1 million commercial, but they said, we just finally built our website this past week. So a lot of people think they need certain things to build their business. What you really need to do is say, who can I solve a problem for right now? How can I solve that problem quickly? And how can I get someone to pay me to do that? That is the simplest way that I can clarify kind of like from a business perspective. And that's what I help people do, whether it's on a small scale or large scale. I came back from Asia. I was in Southeast Asia from 2008 to 2014. My mom got pancreatic cancer in 2014. And I abruptly came back to the States. And I was doing community transformation work, anti-human trafficking, clean water, sustainable solutions like aquaponics, worked with refugees, worked in villages like the Rohingya village on the border of Myanmar, Thailand. I just wanted to change the world, and that's what I was doing, and I thought I'd do that forever and ever and ever. When my mom got the call, I immediately just came back to the States abruptly, and I had to make a decision, like, what am I gonna do now? So I got an entry-level sales position in an AI company of all things, and I climbed the corporate ladder for the last 10 years, and I got to the top of the ladder as Chief Growth Officer of a very large cybersecurity firm, and I'm like, what am I doing here? What am I doing here? I'm looking around. I moved to Florida right on Monroe, the Yellow House right across from Hog Island, and I came here to Florida. The hurricanes hit, as you know, and our community was devastated, and I realized, like, out doing community development work again, helping people get their homes, mobilizing the community, doing stuff, I realized, like, this is what I was created for, and something came alive in me. And so I came into 2025 going, I want to be alive in 25. I want to do something that makes me come alive. So on April 1st, I quit my corporate job, walked away from the money, the commissions, all that kind of stuff, and I decided to go back into the nonprofit space. So I can talk about nonprofits all day, but as a result of taking a reduction in pay, because nonprofits don't pay you like the corporate world does, I decided to launch my revenue consulting agency that I've been doing on the side forever anyway, and that's what I do every single day, is I help businesses grow. And so we're rebranding to growlab.ai. That's going to be the new website, and we're going to have Grow Studio. It's going to be a media production company out of that. So we're going to help businesses grow on the revenue consulting side, bring in C-suite fractional services to any businesses. And then on the studio side will be a full-blown media production studio. That's why I was in LA meeting with some of our partners. And so that's kind of like a background on who I am. So what I would like to do is very quickly go around the room and talk about like who you are, what your business is, and what's one challenge you would love to talk about today. We're a small enough group, like I don't think we need more content. Let me be honest, right? You can go on YouTube right now. You can go on TED Talks. You can go on anything right now, and you can get a lot of information. You can open ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude or, name the AI tool right now that can talk to you about anything you want with your business. So what I would like to do, and this is why we're calling our company Grow Lab. So it's growlab.ai. The website is not up yet. I don't have business cards, none of that, like I said, but that will be up soon. And the idea is we realize in the world of AI, you can type in AI and it will tell you exactly what to do. But the reality is you're all alone. You're sitting there going, how do I do this? How do I go about this? It's like AI can accelerate things, but it's also going to give you a lot of work that you got to go do. So we're calling it Grow Lab because we want to put people into this lab environment so that you can experiment. How many of you guys would agree business is an experiment? Right? Like you have to just, if we do this, what happens? If we do this, what happens? If we try social, what happens? If we try this, what happens? If we open a shop, what happens? If we go digital only, if we scan resumes with HR, what happens? Like you're always trying to experiment, and I love the idea of like putting people into a cohort environment where you walk together with your peers and other people that are in the mix. So that's kind of how our approach is going to be. So what I'd like to do is experiment a little bit with you guys today and say, okay, hey, what are the challenges you're trying to face? What are the things you would love to talk about today? I'm not cheap on my revenue consulting, so use this right now as a way to get some free consulting, okay? So if it was a larger group, we might just do a talk, but the fact that we can zero in today and really dive into your business, I would love to just talk about it. If there's anything we share that, because this is being recorded, we can edit that out and you just let us know after the fact. I don't want you to be like blasting your stuff on here. And so we can kind of like edit this out, I'm guessing, right? So let's go around the room. Who are you? What do you do? And then kind of one challenge that you would say, like, I've got to figure this out ASAP. It's urgent. It keeps me up at night. I can't figure it out. I need the help either of the group or myself, and we can dive into that. So let's start with you.
Awesome, cool. Didn't want to be first, but why the heck not, right? My name is Janae Huey. I'm an HR consultant. I'm a fractional CHRO. My company is Dunedin HR Solutions. I grew up in Dunedin. My father had a company here for many, many years. He's recently moved the shop to Clearwater. I was in the corporate world and I said, hold on, I want to do what I'm doing corporately for the small business. I grew up in a small business. I'm passionate about small business. Growing up here, you can't throw a stone without running into a small business. So what I do as a fractional CHRO, for those of you who kind of don't know what a CHRO does, it's that high level human resources person. I'm working, it's strategy. It's not that task oriented, like we're talking about repetitive tasks, because most of the repetitive tasks, those are going to go away. So I work on the strategy, the stuff that human intelligence is needed, and really to bring business leaders. What happens a lot of time, and we don't know it, is there's a gap between what the organization wants to do and what the employees want, right? That gap, it just tends to happen, most of the time inadvertently, right? And where I come in is let's bridge that gap, right? Because the wider that gap gets, the more disengaged your team members get, right? And your team members, you gotta have clients, customers, whoever you're making your revenue off of, But without an engaged workforce, they're not going to be productive. You're not going to meet your revenue goals. You're not going to meet your sales goals. You're not going to meet any of those goals. So I come in and work on on that strategy level, ensure a high level of compliance. Most business owners don't know that they're not compliant. I hear bad compliance advice all the time, every day. I'm actually at December 1st, I'm launching a new service, and it's fractional HRIS management. Small businesses don't have it. They get a payroll, like let's say Paycom or ADP, and it has this HR side to it, but they don't capitalize on it and they don't get all their money out of it because they can't afford an HRIS manager, and quite frankly, they don't need one full time. So that's launching. Where I am struggling the most is most people think HR, they think the person that says no, they think the person who's gonna make your job rough, they think the person who's gonna prevent revenue generation, and they think the HR lady, right? And, oh, that's gonna be the person who celebrates the birthdays and brings cookies and
Oh, yeah.
no, it's so antiquated, and most small business owners with sometimes even less than 150 employees don't realize they need somebody. And I want to bring that big world corporate, those structures, but with the love. Sorry, I love people. Human resources is actually my passion. I am a nerd about it, and I think my husband's about to kill me about it, but it is what it is. So it's really, being able to get to business leaders or owners, because sometimes it's going to be both of them, right? And really, here's what this value is, right? I can talk the numbers, gosh, you don't fill out an I-9, that can cost you $1,600 per employee you don't have one on. Most employers, a lot of small employers don't think they need them. Oh, I only have 3 employees. So what? Like, you need them on everyone.
What was the amount?
What?
The I-9?
I believe it's right around 1,600 right now.
Okay.
We're in this, right, wrong, or indifferent, you get caught employing an undocumented individual.
Yeah.
Your first offense can be somewhere in the range of $3,000. Second offense, somewhere in the range, I think it's right, the middle of it, I think it's about 7-ish. Third, $15,000 to $28,000. And that stuff is scary. And for small organizations, like for me, I'm like, hold on. What happens if you get popped with that? Like, what happens? And you probably didn't do it, right? Like, on purpose. You just maybe didn't know. But ignorance is no defense for not knowing the law, right? So really where I'm struggling is business owners, they hear HR consultant, they hear HR, and they have such a negative connotation. And I don't need to spend my money on that.
It's like perception.
The perception.
Perception of the value that you're bringing.
Yeah,
Perfect.
and I say this with all the love in the world because I come from the automotive industry. My family owns a used car lot. HR is the used car salesman of the back office, and we really should be a strategy partner to help generate that.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And let's go to you real quick. I'm just trying to try to go quickly.
Oh my.
You're
So
good. I
my
just
name's Elaine. I own an indoor rowing studio.
Okay.
We're also diversifying into
You said rowing or growing?
Rowing.
Okay, good.
rowing, like herbs.
Okay.
So we do rowing, we do yoga, stretching, and also we're diversifying into boot camps now. Yeah, with working with Liz. Yeah. So my challenge is kind of bringing people to the studio. So I have to really just do that word of mouth thing. I had about 40 some people that came with me from another studio that closed. So I really just want to grow that population and to kind of get younger people, because most of my folks there are in their 50s or above. Yeah.
Yeah. And how long have you been in business?
Really just since January.
Okay.
Yeah, we moved to our new facility in Dunedin in March.
What's the name of it again?
It's called the Crew of Clearwater. Yeah.
So just bringing people to the studio, biggest challenge.
Yeah, basically, I think our problems will be solved.
How do people hear about you now?
Yeah, I do have Facebook and Instagram and word of mouth, but honestly, I'm working so hard, in the business instead of on the business. I teach 27 classes a week. So I would love to get myself out of working for the city of Dunedin because I work at the community center. I teach a lot of classes there and I have a great following there. And I'm like, maybe if I leave, maybe they'll follow. But then, you know, everything is very, very affordable. You know, when they go to the community center of Dunedin, they pay like a very small fee. A lot of people are like, you know, the older population want the silver sneakers, they want the Renew Active, and they want those things, and those things just don't pay. I can't go that route at all, you know, so I need to have membership based. Yeah.
Like recurring revenue.
Exactly.
Okay,
Yes.
got it. Excellent.
Okay, so I'm Jessica Huffman. Ironically, I own 2 businesses. So my first one is Clearwake Water Sports, and we just wrapped our 5th busy season. And then my second one is Art and Soul Hair Salon and Spa that me and my best friend Nikki opened. So she's the hairstylist. I am not. I know nothing about being a service provider. I handle all those other things. We launched on July 1st, and we're up on Patricia across from Dodge's. And I mean, we've gone like gangbusters. Like we're our social media following's pushing 500 already. We have a good like social media presence. What was ironic was we kind of built backwards. Like our plan was 6 hairdressers, then we'll build our spa out, and it actually came in reverse. And so now we're really trying to focus on getting those hairdressers in because those bring additional people. So I want to expand our reach beyond the group that we already have. So Nikki's following is huge, as you know, and that has generated a lot for us, but I want to go beyond that. And so how can I do that in a meaningful way? Like leverage social media appropriately. I hate social media with passion, so like I'm looking at like using something like a social channel so I don't have to actually get on it. I can just do it all from this site, and but not only that, but creating like an email and text marketing to our current clients that will help generate that additional revenue, remind them, hey, we're still here, don't forget about booking this, self-care is important, that kind of thing. But Nikki and I are also very passionate about working with the community and collaborating with other businesses. So if I can help you in any way, like push people that way, I'm more than happy to put something at the shop. So that is important to us. But now it's like finding that flow, I think, is where our struggle is, and like getting those revenues up.
Perfect.
I'm Kaylin Ricos. I'm very green at kind of startups, but I actually lived in Asia for 6 years.
Okay.
So I actually lived in Thailand for 4.
Where in Thailand?
I was in Bangkok,
Okay,
but
where in Bangkok? Yeah.
I was right on Sukhumvit.
Okay. Which
So-
Sukhumvit, what?
Right by Egamai.
Okay. I was on Hasipsam.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
53 in Tonglo. Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
I do too.
I miss it so much,
Okay.
but I've never had a 9-to-5 job in my life. I worked with Daughters of Thailand, which is
Okay.
a human trafficking nonprofit.
Wow.
But I also worked with universities and managed about 40 different countries all through Asia. So I traveled 40 countries in about 4 years.
Alright.
But I came back to the States due to COVID, and now I'm actually starting up a branch. It's not my own company, but I am the sole person in Florida for my company called Griffin USA. We are an auction real estate company for commercial, luxury, and residential real estate, everywhere from distressed to even not distressed, just people really needing to move faster. I really want to pinpoint on what she said with some difficulties, and that's perception of value. Auctions, I think, in the real estate realm have a very negative connotation that if you're going through an auction, it means you're going through foreclosure or something's really wrong.
That's what I was saying.
That is not the case. We actually just sold 4 properties this month. None of them are distressed. None of them were under foreclosure. It was all because people really need to change their idea of marketing and how to push and really streamline selling homes, and looking to add price instead of keep reducing your price, to really understand the true value of what you're selling. So I'm the sole person of our branch in Florida and starting from scratch, but we're nationwide in that area.
Is it a franchise or is it a?
Nope, it's a very small company,
Okay.
owned by one guy, and so we're a company of 4 people.
Okay.
But I'm the only person that's looking over all of Florida.
So your territory is Florida.
My entire territory. Yep.
Okay, so your territory is Florida, and then are these properties that you sold above market rate, what a typical real estate agent would have done? So
Yep.
that's the
It's at or
value
above.
proposition?
It's been at or above. It's actually one of the properties that we just sold. It was actually for a nonprofit,
Okay.
which is International Justice Mission for Human Trafficking. All of the proceeds went to them.
I know that
They
very
were
well.
they were on the market for about a year,
Wow.
and they kept decreasing their price. We actually sold it at the price they started at,
Perfect.
before
Okay.
decreasing.
Exciting, sweet. And the nonprofit that I work for now focuses on anti-human trafficking. So I'd love to talk about that
Oh, yeah.
offline, like kind of your passion there. Perfect.
So I'm Bill, and I own a little tech consulting company called 3 Labs Technology Solutions. I came from the corporate world kind of as well. I found some of these interesting parallels because IT and HR share the problem of we're costing. We cost your business money. It's a fact. You can't operate without it. So, try to get a nice relationship going because you have to have it. Very similarly, oddly, I decided back in 2018 the company I was working for was a fairly successful marketing company. We did a lot of Facebook work. We did a lot of work with Google Ads. I was responsible for maintaining a fleet of servers, whose entire job it was to, find customer prospect as quickly as possible because Google gives you less than a second to say, I want that spot. And due to some very poor personal decisions on behalf of the upper management of the company, it went under. And at that time, I had kind of had a side hustle going on of, hey, can you help me with that website and things like that? And I said, well, I think I'll just hang out the shingle and see what happens. And I'm still doing it, 8 years later. So, but last year I relocated back to Florida from Spokane, Washington. It's quite a trip. So at this point, really, my challenge is I'm kind of back in the hump where I don't have quite enough local clients to justify hiring on local staff. But I also can't grow my local clients without hiring on local staff. So, much like you, I'm kind of in that spot of I'm too busy running the business to grow the business. Somebody needs to be out there beating feet around the street and making friends and selling it. But I'm spending a lot of time doing it right now, especially this time of year.
Yeah. Perfect. Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Kayla. Do you have anything, a challenge? Or...
I mean, I feel like I've lived a lot of lives. I have an education background. I've owned my own business for over 15 years, and I am now a quarter of the team that runs this Chamber of Commerce. And so I am always listening at these kinds of things. But I will say, for me, the biggest struggle is always just myself, like getting out of my own way. Being willing to take risks on things I'm not sure are going to pan out. So that's, I think, probably always the biggest thing for me, is just being brave continuously, even though I've already had even when you've had your business for a long time, it's like you're still taking risks every day and trying new things and doing that while you're doing all the maintenance as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to say, I first of all applaud all of you for being here. And I think that the biggest thing that I've learned in my whole entire business career is that business is about relationships, right? And at the end of the day, it's so simple, right? It's a simple way to say this, but like even talking about like Kayla, like I walked into the chamber deal over here. I'm driving my wife crazy working from home, and she's like, you gotta get out of here. And I've always when I've showed up in a place, I've always gone to co-working spaces or WeWorks or wherever and just met people, right? So at the end of the day, business is a people business, no matter what business you're in. Because you're gonna have to talk to somebody at some point, unless you're just a completely even on Amazon distributor or whatever, you're still gonna have to talk to vendors and all that kind of stuff. Like if you're not forward facing every day, but I appreciate Kayla, like I'm just jumping in the chamber here. B, the work you've done already to kind of rally the troops, the co-working space, how the updated that already. So I just wanted to like say, thanks for all you've already brought to the city. So it's been a massive increase of where things were at. My first experience with the chamber. So thank you for that. But it's also a people business. And what I heard even you say, like, hey, I can help you. You know, you're like, oh, I've got the community center, and like, you know, like it's relationships, right? It's like, you know, leaving the corporate world, having those relationships. Okay, how can I bring, which I love what you both of you are doing, like, how can I bring a level of corporate engagement and strategy to a local business? And you should charge for that. You should charge a lot of money for that. And there should be like, you know, some of the things, I'll start with you because you started first, but some of the things that I heard is like, we cost money. People see us as the used car salesman. People see us as like, but the reality of it is, I would use that to your advantage. A lot of things that we see as a disadvantage in business is actually our advantage. And so I'm a consultative salesperson. I'm in training consultative sales. There's a really good book called Above the Line, Below the Line. I'm not sure, that might be the methodology, but I can give you the book later. But the idea around consultative selling is you try to find a pain point. And that's why I dug in with the real estate stuff. I'm like, okay, I've sold so many properties, done real estate, sold Airbnbs, flipped houses, I've done a bunch of different stuff. But the reality of it is people do think like, oh, even for me, if I'm looking for opportunities, where am I going to go? An auction site. Where am I going to go? Foreclosures. I'm going to look on the list. I'm going to go to Craigslist and see who's trying to, I'm not going to go to Zillow. If it's already on Zillow, it's already too late, right? Like, you know what I mean? So I think the positioning stuff and the problem stuff is use this as a problem. So, and we talked about it earlier, but because you're in HR, like I teach people how to get jobs and optimize their LinkedIn profile, how to leverage LinkedIn, how to leverage. I build outbound systems. That's what I do as a revenue consultant. As my primary deal is I build outbound systems using email, phone, LinkedIn, automation, but human touch. So human plus AI, both and, not either or. And one of the things that I always tell every one of my clients is you have to find the pain point of who you're trying to reach, right? Like why do they even care to talk to you, right? And most people have an outbound approach of this, we, right? How many of you guys, like when you think about your business, right? We're trained to talk about it from a we perspective, right? Talk about like we do this, I do this, I do this. The reality of it is you need to turn that upside down, and you need to focus on what matters. You ever heard of this acronym? So what's in it for me? You ever heard of this?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so this to me is the number one thing that I think people get wrong when it comes to business. Because we're trained to do our elevator pitch. We're trained to say, I help people blend data systems, and I build websites, or I do this. I. And we live in this world of influencers, and we live in this world of like, where everybody's promoting themselves, right? I believe that collaboration beats self-promotion every time. I'll say it again, it's one of my core values. Collaboration beats self-promotion every time. Now, why am I saying this about the we versus me, right? We have been trained in businesses to focus on your elevator pitch. I do this, I do this, I do this, right? Instead of saying, what's the problem, right? So let's go back to your elevator pitch for a second, right? Like I'm a fractional HR specialist that helps companies optimize their HR flows, eliminate risk, compliance, all that kind of stuff, right? That's what you probably, I'm paraphrasing, but like roughly that's what you would say to somebody, right? And we want to be crispy, clear. We've been trained to get it done in an elevator to make it really crispy. But how can we flip that around? You know, most companies have risk they don't even realize, and most business owners like you, right? What am I doing? I'm taking it from a me perspective to a you perspective. I'm taking it from a I, me. We live in that world. Like I'm so like, I hate social media. I do it right now. Like I just posted about the LA car show last night. I literally hate it. But I post about food. I post about travel and fishing because I'm in the fishing space. But I don't like it because it's like, it's self-promotion, but we have to do it, right? So there's this tension we have to live in, but most people are focusing so much on themselves. But if you take the we, you turn it upside down, and that looks like a weird, whatever. That's gonna bother me. Turn it into me. What do they care about? What do your people care about? The people that are going to row. Why do they need to row, right? Like you offer a service to solve a problem, right? So if the positioning, I would say, from a verbiage perspective and from how you even approach things out of the gate is like, why would someone even want to work with me? So a good exercise is to open up ChatGPT and put in a prompt. Like, so how many of you guys write emails to your clients or try to get clients through email, or you use the phone and you pick up the phone and you call people? This is it's notorious. I will literally, and I can talk about some outbound systems that I use, because what I'll typically do is I'll build a, I'll show you. So what I'll do is I'll build a system for someone, and I'll build a system for someone, and it'll be like a phone call up front. So phone call up front, and then after that we'll send them an email, right? And after that, we'll send a LinkedIn connection request. And after that, if they don't respond to either of those, either we'll go back to email, or we'll go into LinkedIn over here. And if they don't respond to this LinkedIn message, maybe it'll kick them an email. And if they do respond to this, we'll But the goal is, what happens is I help companies write copy for their outbound sales. Most people right now are expecting people to show up at their business. Right? You put a sign up. I know Eric and Heather over at Sea Love, I helped them get that property that they have there. They've outbid 13 other people, other businesses to get, like, we put a sign up, right? I saw Sea Love, so it made me think of the sign. So you put a sign up like, come to me, right? Here we are, right? Here's what we do. Now that does work to a certain perspective. Then going back to HR, most people right now are just submitting their applications to get jobs, waiting 18 months for a human to review it, and they're saying like, here I am. It's all about me, 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 me. But what I teach people to do job hunting is literally use a sales outbound approach to get their job. Treat it like a sales process, right? Like, I'm going to call that person. I'm going to find the HR director. I'm going to call the manager. I'm going to find out what their problems are. What are they posting about? And it focuses on them. And when you write copy, what happens most of the time is like, it'll be like, it's like, hey, Daniel, we help AI businesses that have technology scale. We are awesome. We. Right? Instead of saying, Daniel, most business owners like you, so it's show me you know me. The one thing that I think people get wrong in business is they don't show people that they know them. They don't.
I just had one thing.
Yeah.
Finish. I don't.
No, but it's like this idea, show me you know me. So how can you, as an auction person, go, okay, look, I need to show people that I know them. So I don't know your business. I'm just going to go off of what you told me so far. So I get an email saying, hey, hey Joe, notice that, saw that, looks like, right? You see what I'm saying? So I'm using, instead of saying we help people sell their house, right? No, hey Joe. I don't even like hey. I actually take that out of emails, a little trick. I put Joe dash. I don't do a comma. I don't go back under the first line. I don't write emails that are polished. Right now you see all these AI emails. Hey Joe, da 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 da, and it's this long email. I write emails like, hey Joe, looks like your listing has been on Zillow for 82 days. What did I just do?
Ironically, the last houses we just closed on, that's how I got them. Was because it takes a lot longer, but it's worth the time of the quality. So I actually go through and I saw that they had an address that just went through a price reduction for the 4th time in 4 months. And I specifically write that out for what I saw in the price reduction.
And it does take a lot of time.
It does.
But people are lazy, I'm about to say a bad word. We're recording. But people are lazy. The reality of it is we're looking for a shortcut. And in a world that you can automate everything, in a world where you can actually just like get everything so clean and polished, I actually spell words in emails wrong on purpose now. And my clients fix them. Hey, we saw that. No. Do not fix that. I'm spelling that wrong on purpose when I write these outbound sequences and things like that. And I can talk about some tools and stuff like that can help you with this. I'm just trying to give you a high level on this we versus me. Because, especially in networking groups, what do? You show up and you say, hi, hey, I'm Daniel. I do this. Instead of being, who's the most interesting person in a room? The person who's most interested in everybody else.
Yeah.
Right? Because like, you know, why do politicians do this? Like, you know, like,
Yeah.
tell me your name again, I'm sorry. What was it again?
Bill.
Bill. So it's like, hey Bill, it's like good to see you. Like, you know, like why do politicians, there's a reason why they be called shake hands and kiss babies, right? Like, because they're interested in that person and they're making them feel like they're the most important person. So the most important person in the room is not the person who's talking about themselves. When you show up at a business thing like this, I would encourage you not to bring business cards. I would encourage you not to pass out business cards. Let me show you a trick, okay? Here, I'll give you I have my cards. These are my nonprofit cards. But couple of things on business cards. What I do is, say I've got a business card. If you want to really give somebody your business card, you hold it out until they take it. Okay, that's one trick. If you really need them to do it, don't be like, hey, here's my card. Like, you literally keep pushing it towards them until they take the card. Because the natural response is to take the card, okay? If you really need to. But what's better than giving out a business card? What happens? Let's just go through this. Bill, hey, Daniel Ross here. You know, I work with as a revenue consultant. I give this to Bill. What happens? Let me just look at my thing here. This is Prisma Health Foundation in Greenville, South Carolina. It just fell out of my notebook today. You know, this is a business card. Have I done anything with this?
No.
Why? Where's it at? In my notebook.
Same notebook.
Right? Where else does it go?
Pocket.
In my pocket. Where does it go after my pocket?
In the laundry.
It goes into the
In
garbage,
the
in the laundry. Yeah,
in the bin.
you can have that. I'm just. But what I do is this.
I just do, and then I go.
Let me tell you a trick. And I know I'm all over the place, but I'm trying to zero in on this human connection because I believe humans will win the day in an AI world. I believe that we are in this age of transformation, that we need to leverage AI as much as we possibly can, and I help clients do this. But what I'm helping them do more right now than their AI systems and automation and all that is be more human. Right? In a world of AI, we need to be more human. It's human plus AI, not either or, it's both and, right? So I teach people, everybody's AI is going to take your job. No, but a human who knows how to use AI will take your job, right? So I literally do, when someone tries to give me a business card, here's what I say. Try to give me your, I didn't do this to you today because I don't want to be, I'm not trying to sell you something. But I say, hey, thanks, man, listen. I lose cards all the time. Can I just do this? I'm going to give you this back. Well, what's your phone number?
Yeah, that's how you.
What did I just do?
Yep.
Yeah, you put yourself in their contacts, so now it's a point of reference.
Yes, and I'm going to say, hey, I'm going to go ahead and send you my email. I'm going to send you my phone number. Or I could just go, you know what I mean, like on the iPhone. What am I doing there? If I call somebody on the phone, I don't even pick up my phone. I literally, my phone rings and my voicemail is full right now, so you can't even like leave me a voicemail. It's like, I just forget to feel. But the reality of it is, like, I'm trying to build a human-to-human connection that will have an impact. And if I text somebody, what does that mean if I text somebody versus call somebody?
Your friends.
Your friends. 100%. You're building a human-to-human connection that will last, and you automatically, by default, if someone's texting you, and then what else happens is like, I can send a copy of my business card, right? So I can get a digital version, and then when I'm following up with that person, what's happening? Boom, I'm immediately like, oh, there's context, and like, oh, we met. I literally meet so many people that I have to say their names as like, met Kayla at the Hub, and she has Mary Kay business, and I use all these anchors from the old book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, but like, I use all these anchors, but I use those in my, deal. Daughters of Thailand, lived on Ekamai. Like, I have these things that I like log into my brain by default after all these years, but what I do is I put that in my phone. So when my phone rings, Kayla, Chamber, Hub, met at the bar or whatever. I didn't meet at a bar, but I'm just saying like, I'm just using that as like, because I met this person, LA Car Show, lost my laptop, met this security person who introduced you. Like, I literally save that as my contacts as a frame of reference. So when I'm texting or calling that person, it creates some stickiness in my brain, right? We can only process and retain so much information. So there's little hacks like that. I'm using that to say, like, oh, I thought we were going to talk about business and how to start. This is business. Yeah. People are business, right? Everything that I'm doing in business right now is because of relationships. In 2014, I walked into a gathering in New York City, and it's an invite-only gathering. There was like movie stars there, and celebrities, and all these different people, and I'm like, what am I doing here, right? But I walked, and I never even made it into the room, and I met a guy named Patrick in the lobby of the event. He was at the event too, and Patrick and I stood by the elevator without even making it into the room for 4 hours, talking. Patrick and I are literally about to start a venture studio together to help social impact orgs. Here we are, that was 2014, 11 years later, and it's because I walked into a lobby and I met a dude and we started talking and we connected on a frequency, not to get all woo-woo and energy-wise, but like there's people that you're going to meet that you're going to feel something, you need to pay attention to that, and there's people that you're going to meet that you're supposed to be collaborating with, because collaboration beats self-promotion every time. And most people are so focused, and your business is hard, let's be honest. 8 out of 10 don't make it, 9 out of 10 startups don't make it. Like, you're not a statistic because you're in this room and you've actually made it to this point. So give yourself a hand, A. But B, the reality of it is it's difficult, and life's difficult. And life isn't meant to be lived alone, and even more, business is not meant to be lived alone. So really being human is the best advice I can give you out of the gate. So that's point number one. Okay, is be human. So my core values are human first, number one. This is how I live my life and my business values. Human first, treat people like you want to be treated. That's the golden rule, right? But the reality of it is, if you will treat people right, do the right thing, do what you say you're going to do when you say you're going to do it. And again, as a sales guy, let's just say I meet Bill. And Bill's like, look, I'm busy, blah, blah, blah. And try to get me off the phone. Can you give me a call next Tuesday at 3 p.m.? Why would he say that? Maybe he's trying to get you off the phone. Why do I say that to people? I do this to salespeople all the time. You know how many people don't call me at Tuesday at 3 p.m.?
Yep.
I promise you.
Yep.
Why does that matter in your business? Do what you say you're going to do. If you don't do what you say you're going to do, that's a test. I make people jump through hoops all the time, right? Like I heard somebody say, some people are sitting in the VIP seats of your life and they need to be on the back row. Right? Like, I mean, you need to move them to a different seat. And if someone's going to have a seat at the table in my life, I want to be sure they're going to do what they say they're going to do. And I'm using that as like, whether it's, you call me about my HR stuff or you call me about the IT. Hey man, I'm really busy right now. Caught me on the phone. Can you call me Thursday at 3 p.m.? Now, am I going to put it on my calendar? No, but guess what? You know what you're going to say when you call me? Hey, Daniel, you told me to call you at Thursday at 3 p.m. It's Thursday at 3 p.m. What just happened? Because you did what you said you're going to do. In my mind, I don't even remember the phone call from last week, but I remember that you did what you said you were going to do. And I think like word of mouth, being human, focusing on the client, focusing on what matters to them, caring about them. And on the rowing side, I'm assuming you work with some older people, right, at a certain level because of mobility issues and things like that. And rowing is just like an all good deal. It's like, what's going on in their life? Right? Like when somebody tells you something's wrong, do you write a card? Like those things to me are the really, really, really where I think we get it wrong. I've been in incubators, accelerators, masterminds, strategy, consulting, I've done coaching. I've done all these things and got all this stuff, and everybody's always talking about the tactical stuff. Everybody's always, and we can get in the weeds, and I'm happy to help you guys. Like if you want to jump on Zoom, I'll give you my assistant's email and she can I'll give you free sessions following this. And if you want to get really tactical, we can do that. But I really believe that the core aspect of what I would share with all of you is just to be human, just to care about people, just to like approach those people who have had their house on Zillow for 112 days. Going back to that, show me you know me. The reality of it is you solve a very specific problem. There's people out there who are praying and thinking and dreaming and crying about that problem. How do you find those people, right? And how do you be crispy to show them you know them? If you can do that, your business will be easy, right? There's people that are moving here right now that I moved here and I went to all these different people to cut my hair, right? And the barbershop down here butchered me. Then I went over somewhere else and it was too expensive. But I found Mike at Paris Hair Salon through a friend who told me you need to go see Mike. Now I love Mike, he's the man, right? He cuts my hair, like that's my dude, right? Like, and I go in there, but then it's like stuff that I see about Mike. I'm like, Mike, dude, stop asking me for my phone number, bro. Like for the 50th time, I've been here 50 times getting my hair cut, right? Stop asking me, do I need a card, right? You need a system.
Yeah.
So when you need oh, hey, Daniel, good to see you. Like, get my card on file, bro. Like I literally forget my card. Gotta call my wife. I'm just saying, I can see those things, but when I showed up here, someone told me to go see Mike, right? So how do you find those people? And guys, this is a snowbird community. People are transient here. Like if like your business, I don't know if you're on Google yet or Google reviews, but like most people don't even like optimize for the basic stuff. So as local businesses, I would say you absolutely, I could do a whole like 2 hours on this. But your Google My Business listing, and the chamber offers a service that if you don't have a physical location, if you're watching online or whatever and you don't have a physical location, you have to send a verification postcard. And the chamber, I believe, offers that, Kayla.
Virtual address, yep.
So you can actually use the virtual address for this. Now, it won't show up like a location, but you can serve a geographical area, and you will still get into the search results. So Google My Business, and here's the number one thing that we got 6 minutes left, 5. I want to this is the number one problem, and I'm using 2 things here: Google My Business or Yelp or whatever it may be. Just optimize it. Most people don't have pictures on there, right? I'm a foodie. I just got back from LA. I'm an Asian inside. I eat pho, Korean barbecue, Chinese, you name it. But I literally was shocked at how some of these like restaurants didn't have like. I'm looking for a certain stuff that I'm looking for, like but like as a local business, like even HR, like get your reviews in.
Yeah.
And the number one thing that people don't do in business that they should is ask for referrals. If word of mouth is the number one thing that drives a business, why wouldn't we leverage referrals to get more business, right? So it's so easy because it's like even on your, if you do business cards, and I'm not criticizing business cards. I want you guys to know, like, you should do those, right? But put a QR code on there. You know what I mean? Pop a little QR code on your business and say, if you had a good experience, would you leave us a review? One thing you can do right now when you leave here is pull up even if you don't have a CRM, and I can talk to you about really cheap CRMs, they're a dime a dozen now, but like, you should be tracking stuff, should be putting stuff, emails, phone numbers, contacts, all that. Use Google Sheets. I run my whole company off of Google Sheet, off multiple things that I'm working on. So you can get simple. But pick up the phone when you leave here today, on your drive home, and start thinking about the ladies or men that are coming to row with you, and say, hey, I just came out of a business session. I just want to thank you for your business, and I want to thank you for trusting me the last few months to work with you, and I don't take that lightly. And I really have had a hard time doing this, but I got to start asking for referrals, and I got to start asking for reviews. Did you notice how I said that? What did I say in there that was like human? I have a really hard time doing this. Could you help me? This is like, if you haven't read Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. He was a hostage negotiator. And he teaches me these tricks. I used it yesterday at the airport. When I lost my laptop at the crypto arena at the LA convention. And I was like going up and I'm like, look, you're going to hate me for this. Right? What am I doing? I'm like prefacing the conversation, but I'm wondering if you could, can you help me? When you say, can you help me versus, hey, can I get X, Y, Z? You say, listen, this is really hard for me, but my business coach just told me I needed to do this, and I really struggle. I love rowing. I'm just using you, picking on you for a second. I love the work that I do, but I'm really got to figure out how to like optimize my business to get more people like you so I can help more people. See, it's not like, hey, would you give me a review? You're asking in a human way for them to help you. And when you do that, they're going to lean in. And they're going to say, absolutely. So, hey, look, I want to text you a link after this. If you can just click the button, you can have this all ready ahead of time. I can help think through it. But have it ready and say, is there anybody else that you think might be helpful? I'm coaching a girl has a fitness business right now. She just moved back to Tennessee. She was here in Florida for a while. And so I'm helping her with her business. And she's like, well, I don't know what to do when I get back to Tennessee, blah, blah, blah. I said, why don't you just like literally post that you're going to have, she's not have a gym. She's working in a gym here. I don't have nothing. I'm like, just post that you're going to meet at Park XYZ at 8:30 in the morning. And you're going to do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or 6 a.m. or whatever. You don't need any equipment. Find one with a hill. Find one with a track. And just like invite people. And she just posted last night, she's got 7 people standing there, right? Because she just was intentional about asking people to show up, right? So for you, hey, I've really got to figure this out. I want to help more people. Would you be willing to give me a review on Yelp or Google review or all of the above? Some people do all of them, some people do one. And then say, is there anybody else that you think I might be able to help? I brought her up because I taught her how to build an affiliate system. So you turn your current clients into salespeople for you. So you can say, hey, here's a link, here's your own card. If there's anybody that you think would benefit from the service that I have, and same with, you can pay commissions to your clients, right? Like, most underrated way to make more money is like, Bill's got, a client that pays him $3,000 a month, hopefully. And then all of a sudden it's like, hey, is there anybody else you think I could help? I'll give you a $250 credit for every client that you bring to me. What did I just do? I reduced my cost, but I didn't do marketing spin. I leveraged word of mouth to immediately say, like, I just turned every one of my clients into salespeople. This is like so simple to do, right? Like, how'd you hear about us? Like, oh, Kayla sent me from the chamber. Send Kayla $200, right? Like, I'm not saying from the chamber, but like, I'm just saying that's like.
Just Venmo per me.
Yeah. But I have one more minute, and I know we just started with your problem, but I tried to address kind of everybody's situation from that one deal. And I'm just saying there's some ways to think about business a little bit differently than what all the gurus tell you. I'm a little anti-guru because the problem right now is you're getting ads from all these people that have courses, that have a PDF, that have like a mastermind, that have all these things, right? And you can technically get all that content from ChatGPT, Gemini. You can get the content that they have. What I think the people who are going to win in business, and we're talking about this on the AI panel, I'm guessing we're going to go there, are the people who learn how to be more human in an AI world, right? And like learn how to, and we can all agree and authenticity wins the day. So my core values, I didn't finish them all. Human first, be human. Number one, treat people like you want to be treated, treat people well, follow up, do what you say you're going to do. Number two is collaboration, beats self-promotion every time. And number three that builds on that is better together. Who do you have in your world that can be a good partner? I want to talk to you right now because I'm doing fractional services, sales, marketing, operations, media, all that. We need to talk, right? On the HR side. I haven't even thought about it until today. I'm like, oh, that's like what every business needs, right? Like you all are already collaborating. I'm talking to you about some data blending stuff, right? Very interested in the real estate play and that kind of deal. And I think I've got friends that have properties right now that have it. So like right now, just in this little big ecosystem, that's why Kayla does this with the Florida Business Incubator, is so that these things will happen, right? Show up at these events. Come back. Don't just come because I'm here, right? Like, seriously, come back. And I say that, I've barely been there because I travel so much. I'm like, I feel like I go drink my own Kool-Aid. But the reality of it is like, show up. Be intentional. Show up. You never know what could happen. If you meet somebody in the lobby of a hotel in New York City, and 11 years later, you're not only partners, but we're best friends, talk almost every day. Where our kids are hanging out, like he lives in Coos Bay, Oregon. Like we're total opposite ends of the country, and literally like one of my best friends in the world. All because I was intentional about being out there, being human, collaborating, figuring out like how can we work together. So thanks for having me, and thanks for.